What's up, people? It's your girl, Adiola. Is anybody else tired, by the way, of how Nigerians are embarrassing us all over the world? And put up Madam's photo. Madam, you're welcome to this program. How are you feeling, by the way? How is the cancer treatment? You should be feeling better. You're treating it in London, eh? Unlike some Nigerians, millions of Nigerians, when they get sick, they can't even afford to go to India. It's very nice having you on this show. So they said that you said that you are ready to go to prison. Father. I don't understand, Madam Madweke. For years, we've been saying you be thief. As in that you stole money is what I'm trying to say. Money meant for the betterment of the future of millions of Nigerians. But you denied every single allegation. But now that America is involved, now that America is revealing all these secrets, suddenly you are no longer denying it. Now you are saying that you are ready to go to jail. That hurts. That hurts. As if we Nigerians that have been saying it, as if we are mumu. It is only when America says it that it becomes an issue. Wait a minute. Oga Jono told us this. So he said America would know.
Whether one person or a group of people steal $20 billion, America will know and say this will cut that money there.
By the way, this money is part of the missing $20 billion that former President Goodluck Jonathan told us at that time was not missing, because he said that if the money was missing, America would know. So now, Madam is speaking. She exposed how she allocated several oil lifting contracts to Aluko as well as Amokwere, despite their lack of technical expertise or capacity to operate the oil mining leases. Yes, they couldn't do it. In fact, they subcontracted it to third party, and then they made tons of money by not fulfilling the obligations stated in the agreement. But she gave it to them because in return, they bought Madam several properties in different parts of the world. I mean, you guys have been saying several properties allegedly in the name of Alison Madweke. We've been saying so many $1 million properties in her name. Apparently, this is how she got those properties. And of course, they wired millions of dollars into her account. By the way, I thought I should mention that Madam wants us to know that the furniture that they bought for her was only $4 million. So not more, it's just $4 million. This is for the enemies of progress. All of you that have been saying that she spent a lot of money on furniture, she wants us to know it is not that much. It is only $4 million. Anyway, so with Madweke's help, these people were able to steal $1.7 billion. $1.7 billion. Don't worry, we'll come back to the money. Let's just keep going. So imagine the biggest foreclosure ever in New York City is a property owned by a Nigerian. Just imagine the embarrassment I felt when I heard that. They used our money to buy $50 million apartment here in New York. Please let Nigerians see what these people used our money to buy. $50 million apartment. And then there was another $80 million that was spent on a yacht. I said, when Beyonce turned 32 and she went cruising with her husband, we did not know that was that they were cruising on our money. You see, Nigerians, of course she paid. I mean, Beyonce paid like $900,000 or something. So she paid. But the money, as in the yacht, that was our money that was cruising for the 32nd birthday. And let's not forget about the house that he bought in California. He bought that with $24 million. Yes, it is our money. As a matter of fact, he already sold that one. And then the man had 3 private jets. 3, not 1, not 2. What do you do with 3 private jets, by the way? I don't know. 58 exotic cars for one person alone. Okay, that just shows you the level of poverty mentality that these people have. You see money like this, you start shaking. You go and buy a big house, big yacht, 58 cars. Have that. And this is just to show off and to date Naomi Campbell. No be so. Does that even make sense? Naomi don't dump him. No be so. Naomi don't dump him. She don't move on to somebody else. You see, this is how these people let models take our money. But it pains me because I always think about what this money would have done in Nigeria. You guys remember that beautiful airport in Zimbabwe that I've been showing you for some time now? Victoria Falls Airport was built with $150 million. Father, 150. I mean, think of how many of that we would have now in Nigeria. 11 of such airports would be in different places now in Nigeria. In fact, forget about Zimbabwe. Are you guys familiar with the Enfidha International Airport in Tunisia that was built from 2007 to 2009? They spent $520 million between 2007 and 2009 to build that airport. $520 million. That means that with this money that these people stole, at least we would have 3 of such airports in Nigeria. It's a very beautiful airport, very efficient. I mean, the Cape Town International Airport in South Africa was renovated and expanded in order to look as good as it is right now with $138 million. Just $138 million. So that means if they should spend that $138 million on the airports in Lagos, what we would have right now would be the envy of so many countries. But you know, forget about airport. Madam is sick in London. No, so you think that money would have built her a very good hospital where they will be treating her in like, yes, of course. What am I even talking about? Rush Hospital East Tower in Chicago. It was built with $654 million, not billion. I'm talking about $1 million now, and they built it in 2011. In 2011, and do you guys know how much they make at that hospital? More than $3 billion. You see how infrastructure can fuel the economy. They spent $654 million. They are making $3 billion. And you know, I'm sure some of the people that are paying big money at such hospitals will be big Nigerian officials. Don't they treat cancer at that hospital? Of course, they treat cancer at that hospital, and they only spend $654 million. And guess what? They have 8,436 employees. I'm just saying that so many people would have nice jobs today in Nigeria. And what about that hospital in Texas? Yes, the Texas Children's Pavilion for Women. That hospital was built for $575 million. So $575 million. And this was between 2007 and 2012. Only $575 million was the building cost for this really nice hospital. And these people stole almost $2 billion. And they spent it on yachts, on cars. This hospital employs 1,789 doctors and 1,366 nurses. Hopefully some of you are starting to realize the impact of what these people are doing. It's not just about the fact that we could have good hospitals and less people would die, but many graduates would have jobs today if only these people would just invest the money in Nigeria. Some people will tell me, why are you telling people to invest in Nigeria when there is no power? So if somebody like this should spend the money to invest on power, don't you think we would have stable electricity by now? I thought they privatized the electricity company. If somebody like this should invest in the electricity company, the electricity would be stable. I can go on all this. Milo Cancer Hospital in Connecticut was built with $467 million. That is a cancer center. Even if we just have one of that in Nigeria, is it just me, or have you all noticed that it is no longer the common people that are suffering from lack of good hospitals in Nigeria? Don't you guys see celebrities, Nigerian celebrities on social media asking for funds for them to go to India, for them to go to Dubai for treatment? Have you guys not been seeing it? Instead, these people are spending this money buying houses in America. Now, the truth is, as much as we like to crucify government officials and big people for robbing the future of our children in Nigeria, even the common people are corrupt. As in, this corruption thing is not everywhere. I'm sure you guys have seen the story of the lady at ShopRite, the one that stole 554 million naira from customers within 1 month. I mean, how? How is it possible? A sales girl, Miriam Mufutao. Auntie Moria. Hey, you don't have her photo. Auntie Moria, hey, within 1 month of getting a job as a cashier at a ShopRite, within 1 month of resuming for her job, this girl bought her own POS, so she would swipe customers' cards on it. So instead of the money going into ShopRite's account, it was going into her account. Nigerians, why are we like this? Why? You see, I fear Nigerians. I fear Nigerians. So politicians are robbing us left and right. And now, common people are also robbing people. Habba, even a sales girl, stole 554 million in 1 month. In 1 month. Oh, what was successful? You would think that she would have stopped after 1 or 2 million or 10 million. Now, like, she had to go on 554 million until she got caught. Of course, the girl will go to prison for stealing the money. Although, she stole a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I know some people that have stolen billions of dollars and they are not going anywhere. Just think of all the hospitals, the airports we would have today, how advanced Nigeria would have been if not for these thieves. And it's so clear that the government has failed us in Nigeria. You would think that by now some non-profit organizations will come together, even if it's just to build one badass hospital, just one that the whole world will be talking about and say, just one good hospital of amazing standard, at least the 1 billion that we spend every year on medical tourism, at least that would now be invested back into the Nigerian economy, you know, because once we have at least one very, very good hospital, trust me, the federal hospitals, they will feel the competition and they would improve. But another thing I found really interesting is the fact that the US did not say anything for years, all this while, when these people were buying the yacht, when they were buying the apartments in New York, when they were wiring the money into America, and they did not say anything. They've been pumping this money into the American economy. They didn't say anything. It is now that America is talking. I want to know what you guys think. So they have money in America, in UK and Switzerland. Do you think that the US or UK or Switzerland should return the money that had been looted? And do you think they will return it? And if they should return the money to the Nigerian government, what do you think would happen? I want to know what you guys think. But again, you guys still don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Tanzania, Lord have mercy. You know, while we are slacking in Nigeria and so many other countries, the man is doing wonders. Have you heard about the new president of Tanzania? They call him the bulldozer, and rightfully so, because the man is bulldozing corruption, laziness, and overspending among government officials. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the man that gladdens my spirit. I hope that all African presidents are watching. Well, they're probably not watching, but anyway, I hope they can learn a few lessons from the man, Dr. John Magufuli. He's a farmer's son whose first real job was a school teacher, and then he educated himself as an industrial chemist and eventually became Tanzania's Minister of Public Works before winning the election in November of last year. Yeah, just last year. You would not believe all that the man has done. The first thing he did was to suspend the Independence Day celebration. He said, what are we celebrating when people are dying of cholera? I was like, whoa, how many people have died of cholera in Tanzania? 74? 74 people? How many people have died in Nigeria? My father and my God. Thousands of people. Boko Haram has killed thousands of people in Nigeria, and we did not suspend any party or ceremony. Even our new president was in Ogun State, you know, celebrating in Ogun State after the incident that happened in Dalori. Meanwhile, a president cancelled Independence Day celebration because like 70-something people were killed by cholera. So they were supposed to spend 4 billion Tanzanian shillings on that ceremony. But Magufuli said, no. So you see, that money should be used for the expansion of a 4.3-kilometer section of the road from Morocco to Mwenge in order to ease traffic congestion. Tell them that is what I'm talking about. Now for the Independence Day ceremony, the man commanded that everybody, that people should get out of their houses and go and clean their streets and all the corners in order to stop the spreading of cholera. He didn't stop there. Himself came out, Mr. President himself. He got on the streets, cleaning up the streets. My eyes got big when I saw that video.
When we nominated Dr. Magufuli to be our candidate, we knew the style, the type of leadership that he represents. We needed, his style and his way of doing things. We expected him to do exactly what he's doing.
When some Nigerian officials, even those that are not even president, they are not president, when they will be feeling pompous, because of what he did, his own officials also got on the streets, cleaning up the streets. Imagine what will happen the day we see Oga Saraki with a broom, or Oga Dino Melaye, or Senator Ben Bruce. That man's very, very loud on Twitter. Anyway, the man banned all foreign travels by public officials, public servants, except when it is essential travel, and they must to get permission from him or from the chief secretary. In fact, on the 21st of November of last year, a group of 50 officials were going on a tour of Commonwealth countries. The president cut down the list from 50 people to 4 people, and he saved the government 600 million Tanzanian shillings.
Recently, during the Commonwealth conference that President Uhuru Kenyatta attended alongside other senior government officials, his Tanzanian counterpart slashed the size of delegation to the conference from 55 to just 4, thereby saving millions of shillings.
Money they would have spent on tickets, accommodation, and per diem, no more traveling abroad for all these officials. He said, well, the high commissioners and the ambassadors and the embassies abroad should be representing Tanzania when they are invited. Which makes a lot of sense. Why are they abroad if we also have to be going abroad, No more first class and business class travels for all officials, except Mr. President, the Vice President, and the Prime Minister. Only 3 people. No more business class flying. That means they have to fly economy. Oh my God. Some of them will collapse. Reminds me of Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. No, be so? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The man has cancelled all meetings, no more workshops and conferences by government officials and public servants inside fancy hotels. He said no more inside fancy hotels. He said that every ministry has ministerial boardrooms. No, be so? Use that one for your meetings. And that is what they are now doing. Soon after coming into office, Mr. President went to Muhibili Hospital unannounced. He just walked there and he walked through all the terrible parts of the hospital that they would normally hide from officials. All the dirty places, all the places where people were sleeping on the floor, where equipment were not working. After seeing many equipment not working and some patients on the floor, the man fired the director of the hospital. He fired all the hospital board members and he ordered that all the machines that were not working must be repaired within 2 weeks. If not, he would fire the new director as well. Apparently, all the doctors knew that the machines were not working, but instead of repairing them or asking the director to repair them, they were referring patients to their own private hospitals.
Sasa wewe ipi MRI inayofanya kazi iko wapi?
Hospitali zote za private zinafanya kazi.
Kwa hiyo za private zote zinafanya kazi. CT scan za hospitali za private zote zinafanya kazi. Za hospitali ya hapa Muhimbili zote hazifanyi kazi.
I know that something like that is going on in Nigeria as well. No, so anyway, he gave them 2 weeks to fix the machines, but guess what happened? The machines were repaired in 3 days. 3 days. And so it is possible to repair this. And then when they opened parliament, they planned a state dinner that would cost 300 million shillings. And when he heard about it, he said, you see this 300 million shillings, make it 25 million. Whatever we can eat with that, we will manage. Now, the rest of the money, he said they should use it to buy hospital bed for that hospital that he visited, you know, Muhibili Hospital. So they bought 300 brand new beds and mattresses and 600 bed sheets from that money. Can you imagine? They would have eaten with that money and that would have been the end of it. Now they have 300 brand new beds to admit people into the hospital. By the way, he said that why were engineers using V8 engine vehicles when they were supposed to be using pickups? He said that is more suitable for their jobs. So now they've changed all the vehicles. No more sitting allowances for officials. He said, how the hell are you paid allowances for a job which you have a monthly salary? That also applies to members of parliament, by the way. No more sitting allowances. It was so funny when I heard that the day after he was sworn in, the State House officials were showing him around, you know, his new residence, but he was not really impressed by that. Instead, he decided to take a walk to the Ministry of Finance. He got there and he told them to get their acts together. He asked why some employees were not in office yet, and I heard that since that day, the traffic jam in the mornings has really increased because people no longer show up late to work after Mr. President's visit. Now he ordered that no more tax exemptions for the big people. Everybody must pay taxes, including the big people. The other day, when he was going to officially open parliament, instead of him to fly the 600 kilometers, the man decided to drive. He drove the whole 600 kilometers from that to Dodoma. He has reduced his own convoy. He even reduced the presidential delegation that travels with him. He surprised everybody when he chose a female vice president. All the big boys were shocked. They were like, what? It's a new day in Tanzania. And then he chose a prime minister that nobody has heard about. They said that this guy has a reputation for hard work and no corruption. All the big guys that thought that they would be prime minister are still in shock, by the way. So after his visit to the Ministry of Finance and that hospital without announcing, all the other ministries have fastened their belts. Everybody is now hardworking, including a sector that people consider very corrupt. That is the port, where people normally pay bribe to get their stuff. I heard that it has suddenly become the most efficient place. No loads are missing, things are done quickly, and you cannot get your container without paying bribe. And finally, all individuals and firms that bought state companies that were privatized, they've been told to either get to work or hand over that sector with immediate alacrity, hand it over back to the government. Some of them, I heard that they've not done anything in like 20 years, but now all of a sudden, they're all awake, doing stuff. The man has literally pressed the reset button in Tanzania. It's a new day in Tanzania. His motto is Hapakazi True. Some of you that are not from Tanzania, you probably don't understand. Don't worry, I will teach you. What that means is here, all we do is work. We serve, nothing else. Yes, his people are happy. Of course, the big people are not that happy, especially the corrupt ones, you know. But all the small people, like myself, they're very happy. Ugandans want their president to be like him. They wrote an article about it. South Africans want their president to learn 10 things from Tanzanian president. And of course, I want my president to learn from this man. 3 Gbosa. So the president of Tanzania, Gbosa, Gbosa, Gbosa. Now, having said that, my guy, we are very happy. We love you. You started well. Please continue to do not disappoint Mama. If you keep up like this, very soon Tanzania will become the best country in Africa. No, be so. You guys are not doing anything. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.
A former Nigerian oil minister, Diezani Alison Madueke, is facing charges in several countries, accused of using her office to amass a fortune from bribery. VOA senior analyst Jeffrey Young details the scope of her alleged international criminal enterprise.
Allegations of massive corruption, bribery, and aided by protection at the highest levels. These charges are what former Nigerian oil minister Diezani Alison Madueke faces at home and also in the United States, Britain, and Italy. Officials say her pile of purported corruption-connected cash and properties could total close to $1 billion. As oil minister from 2010 to 2015 during the term of Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, Alison Madueke allegedly granted huge oil contracts to people who repaid the favors with cash and palatial properties in luxurious neighborhoods in Lagos, London, and New York City. Recently, Nigerian authorities seized properties of hers in Lagos said to be worth some $37.5 million. The latest legal action against her came in July 2017 with a U.S. federal civil suit seeking to seize some $140 million in assets, including a $50 million Manhattan condominium and an $80 million yacht allegedly obtained for her by 2 associates. This after Britain arrested her in October 2015 on criminal money laundering charges connected to the purchase of at least 4 multi-million-dollar luxury flats in London. The U.S. charges against Alison Madueke are civil rather than criminal, but the investigation could grow, according to, via Skype, former U.S. State Department Nigeria specialist Matthew Page.
That's sort of the first step that U.S. authorities are going after, but it's likely that additional asset forfeiture cases and criminal charges against Madueke and her many, many associates and facilitators will be forthcoming over the next few years.
In 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari ended a system that allowed Alison Madueke and other government officials to deposit ministry funds into commercial banks rather than the central bank. This provided huge opportunities for abuse, as explained via Skype from Cape Town by Stellenbosch University law professor Sophie Williams-Ellegsby.
So when we had that system, there was a lot of scope for abuse, and that system was being abused. You would have public officials put government money in a deposit money bank, and they would cream off the interest, of course, with the collusion of banking officials themselves.
A major investigation involving Alison Madueke is also underway in Italy with an oil company called ENI and Shell. The magnitude of that alleged corruption is described via Skype from London by watchdog NGO Global Witness analyst Barnaby Pace.
Is one of the biggest scandals in the history of the oil industry. They're alleged to have paid over $1 billion that was diverted away from the Nigerian people, the majority of it alleged by prosecutors to have gone as bribes, including $500 million that was converted into cash in Nigeria, and that the Italian authorities allege was used to bribe Nigerian officials, including, they say, Diezani Alison Madueke.
Muhammadu Buhari's successful 2015 Nigerian presidential bid was built in large part on his pledge to fight government corruption. While he has indeed taken steps in that direction, analysts say that the effort has to include scrutiny of all officials, present and former, regardless of their political affiliations. Jeffrey Young, VOA News.
2019, do you think President Buhari can retain his seat as Nigeria's president?
He can.
Why do you think so?
He can. He can, based on his economic policies. I believe he can retain it. He has been able to do something that is different from the past,
like
especially on the empowerment of the youth. If you look at Shopee, you look at Empower, you discover that there is a difference between Shopee and Empower. Shopee was being given to political associates, those who were working for some politicians. But N Power, if you are qualified, you go to the net, you enroll for it. If you are lucky, they will pick you. That one was not based on political sentiments, and it was distributed equally. So on the area of the youth, I believe he has done something good. The not too young bill, not too young to run bill equally signs for the youth to aspire for any position. I think it's an encouragement to the youth, even if that the amount to run for politics is high, but at least they have been given a leverage to have a place to run for election, even if the amount that the political parties are selling forms are high. I think that one is good. Then there are some infrastructures as roads all over the country that are coming up. These roads, yes, they are bad, but it was not actually bad under his administration. Some of them have been so bad before he came in. I was running a postgraduate program in the East then. If I'm going to Oka, I know the hell I have to pass through. But he has now come, he's trying to do something about the roads. Some of them has been commissioned, some are still ongoing. I think he's doing well. And we could equally remember that when he came in as president, the economy was battered. The amount for oil, Nigeria was a monoculture economy, just oil. It was very low, the lowest for the past 30 years. And he was able to manage. When he came in, some states, only 4 states were able to pay salaries. He was giving them, he was giving them a kind of bailout funds. And then some of the states were not using it. And people will think it is Buhari. He gave out bailout funds about 3 times. No other governments have done that, so that they will be able to pay the workers' salary. Because if the workers does not earn, the economy will be in stagnation. He did that so that people can earn salary on that area. And so many other areas, there was recession. I don't think in the whole of the world any country has been able to come out of recession within 6 months. But he did it. We came out. Even if there is now a warning that Nigeria may go back to recession. But he has done well in that. And what he did greater again was on agriculture. He tried to diversify the economy of Nigeria. It's no longer a monoculture economy. People are now interested in agriculture. You can see the rice farmers in Nigeria. They pay the money for his farm. It has not been done before. And we are capable of feeding ourselves. But we don't go into farm because it's no longer interesting. But it's now making it to be interesting. And people are now interested in farming. So he has done well. I think to some extent he has done well. If we give him another term, he will be able to consolidate. Other people that had ruled before, they had opportunity to consolidate. So they should equally allow him to consolidate.
People have been groaning and saying that things are not going on smoothly for them all over the country.
Yes, that is true. Things are very difficult. Even to me, speaking, it is difficult. But it's the price we have to pay. Great countries that have made it in the world, they made some sacrifices. We cannot continue to eat everything we have. It's not that the federal government does not have money as it is now. The recovered loot are there. The Abacha return are there. The excess from Kud is on the increase. These monies are there. But he does not want to squander it just like that. He wants this money to be used well. He wants the economy to grow. That is what he's after. So that we will not all be looking at one side to make money.
But people are saying that his administration is also very corrupt. Maybe worse than the previous ones. How true is that?
Yes. There is no corruption. There is no administration that is not corrupt. But he has tried to minimize corruption. Unlike previous administration, where people was using government funds as it is their own. This time around, even if there is corruption, but it is to some lower, it has gone to the lowest ebb. The people are now afraid to even spend money publicly. The politicians are now afraid to spend money publicly. In the past, you see politicians building estates in the capital city. But today, some of them are even denying those buildings because they are afraid that this man might owe them and claim these buildings. They are afraid. But then they will do it with impunity. They spend government money recklessly. Nobody asks them. Nobody say anything. But today, somebody is asking. People are asking. We have seen money abandoned in buildings in Nigeria. They ran away. Nobody came to claim that money. It happened in Osborne. And so many other people. We saw one in the airport. Nobody said it's my money. They are running away from it. Why are they running if there is nothing chasing them? So he has been able to do something about corruption. It's not that corruption is totally free because some corrupt elements are still in his government who came from the other side of the divide when he won. But it does not mean that what they were doing then, that they can equally do it now. It has reduced to some level. And if you look at the Northeast insurgency issue, the Boko Haram problem, he has been able to reduce it. Before he came, Boko Haram was holding 14 local governments in Nigeria hostage. But today, can they boast of a local government? No.